Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Reynolds with Board, Better Off Reading Every Day. Today, I have three really great books for you, and they are all about family. What keeps us, what holds us, what loves us, what shines on us, what makes us feel like we are the luckiest people in the world. Family. So we have the family book by Todd Parr. We have Clifford's Family by Norman Bridwell. And we have a ready-to-read Ruby's New Home book by Scholastic by Tony Lauren Dungy, illustrated by Vanessa Brantley Newton. And of course, I wanted to read these books to you today because a lot of the families that I work with are moving. They're going through a lot of different changes, and they're having additions to their family, meaning new babies, new pets. Life is just changing all around them, and I wanted to send love to them and say, it's all going to be okay. It's a lot of work, I know, but it's so well worth it, and it's going to be fine. We here at the Board Better Off Reading Everyday family love you, and we are sending you nothing but great vibes during this time of family and family changes. So our first one will be the ready-to-read book, Ruby's New Home. Everyone was excited. Mom and Dad had a big surprise. Today was the day Ruby would arrive. The kids could not wait to meet their new dog. After lunch, Mom and Dad brought Ruby home. Everyone has to learn to share, Mom said. We will all have to take care of Ruby. Isn't she cute? Jade said. Ruby is going to be so much fun, said Jordan. Justin smiled and nodded. Everyone loved Ruby right away. Mom took them to the pet store. She told each of them they could pick out something special for Ruby. Jade picked out a leash and a bowl. Jordan picked out a ball and a blanket. Justin picked out a collar and a tag. Then he picked out a box of treats for Ruby. Everything was red. Which did you all why did you all pick red? Asked Mom. Her name is Ruby, said Jade. So red is her favorite color. Mom smiled. I am glad we are all sharing Ruby so well, she said. That night, Mom heard loud voices. She walked down the hall to see what was going on. Justin was hugging Ruby. Jordan was holding her ball, and Jade was trying to pull Ruby with her leash. What is going on here? Asked Mom. Jordan said, Ruby is my dog. I want her to sleep in my room. Justin said, no, Ruby is my dog. I want her to sleep in my room. Jade said, Mom, they are both wrong. Ruby is my dog and she should sleep in my room. Just then, Ruby barked. They all let go of Ruby and looked at Mom. Ruby is a member of our family, Mom said. We need to share her. There is plenty of fun to go around. Ruby loves all of you, right, Ruby? Everyone looked around. Where is Ruby now? Asked Justin. Where did Ruby go? She was nowhere in sight. They looked in Jordan's room. No Ruby. They looked in Jade's room. No Ruby. They looked in Justin's room. No Ruby. Then they looked downstairs. Ruby was curled up in her crate on her brand new red blanket. She was fast asleep. It looks like Ruby has found her own spot to sleep, said Mom. The next morning, Dad had a good idea. Let's have a picnic at the park, he said. Can Ruby come too? Asked Jade. We can all play with her together. I will bring Ruby's leash, said Justin. I will bring her ball, said Jordan, and I will bring her treats, said Jade. They all took turns playing with Ruby. They all threw the ball for her to chase. They took her turns holding the leash to keep her safely near them. They all gave her treats, but not too many. On the drive home, Ruby fell asleep in the back seat. She was so tired she was snoring. Look, Mom, said Justin. Sweet little Ruby really is our dog. Mom smiled. Isn't sharing fun? We can share taking care of Ruby and share playing with Ruby. Best of all, said Dad, we can share Ruby's love too. And that is the end of Ready to Read, Level 2, Ruby's New Home. This book is for a Level 2 superstar reader. Longer sentences, simple chapters, high interest vocabulary words. Perfect for the Level 2 superstar reader. And that is the first one. The second one is going to be our Clifford book, Clifford's Family. I'm Emily Elizabeth, and this is my dog. His name is Clifford. We live in a small town now, but we were both born in the city. One day, we went back to visit our old home in the city. Clifford hasn't seen his mother since he was a tiny puppy. She hardly knew him. She still treated him like a puppy. She checked his teeth and she looked in his, she looked at his ears to see if he had been washing them. The man told us where Clifford's brother and sister lived. We went to find them. Clifford's sister Claudia lived nearby. She was taking her owner for a walk. We went to the park with them. A taxi was blocking the crosswalk. Clifford took care of that. Next, we found his brother, Nero. Nero was a rescue dog at the fire station. While we were there, the alarm rang. We followed the fire truck. Nero rushed into the building. Clifford helped him. Nero was very brave. Then we set off to the country. Clifford's other sister Bonnie was a farm dog. One of Bonnie's jobs was to herd the sheep into their pen. Clifford wanted to do some farm work too. He started to drive the cows towards the barn. One of the cows was a bull, and bulls don't like the color red. Ooh. Clifford wasn't scared. He was smart. He didn't want to hurt the bull, so he jumped out of the way. When Clifford jumped, he really, really, really jumps. We had one more place to visit. It was Clifford's father's home in town nearby. The house was small, and there were a lot of kids playing in the yard. Clifford's father didn't have a collar, or a dog dish, or a doghouse, but he seemed very, very happy. I guess it was the kids. He sure loved kids. He was a lot like Clifford, just a little smaller. Clifford wished his family could come and live with us, but they all had people who needed them, just as I need Clifford, the best dog of all. There's his family right there in the corner. Right there. There's his family. And that is the end of Clifford's family. My favorite part in this book would have to be the house was small and there were a lot of kids playing in the yard. Clifford's father didn't have a collar or a dog dish or a doghouse, but he seemed very happy. I wonder why he was happy. Because just like Miss Reynolds, I guess it was the kids. He sure loved kids. He was a lot like Clifford, just a little smaller. Just like Miss Reynolds. And I'm just a little smaller than Clifford. And I love, love, love kids. And of course, storytelling magic, which is what I'm doing here with you, bored, better off reading every day. Our next book is the family book. To my family, who sometimes did not understand me, but encouraged me to go after everything I wanted, even when we did not agree. As I now realize, this takes a lot of love to do. Todd Parr. That's his dedication. So beautiful. Sometimes families are big, sometimes families are small. Sometimes families are the same color, some families are different colors. All families like to hug each other. All families like to hug each other. Some families live near each other. Some families live far from each other. Some families look alike. Some families look like their pets. All families are sad when they lose someone they love. All families are sad when they lose someone they love. Some families have a stepmom or stepdad and stepsisters or stepbrothers. Some families adopt children. Some families have two moms or two dads. Some families have one parent instead of two. All families like to celebrate special days together. All families like to celebrate special days together. Some families eat the same things. Some families eat different things. Some families like to be quiet. Some families like to be noisy. Some families like to be clean. Some families like to be messy. Some families live in a house by themselves. Some families share a house with other families. All families can help each other be strong. All families can help each other be strong. There are lots of different ways to be a family. Your family is special no matter what kind it is. Love, Todd. The end of the family book. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I do not own the rights to any of these books that I have read to you, but I do love storytelling magic, and the magic of these 3 stories today is that they are all about family. Clifford's family, Ruby's family, and the family book. And of course, my favorite family story. Who is this? Who is this guy right here? Who is it? Lilo and Stitch. One of my favorite movies having to do with family. You know what they say in that movie? No one gets left behind. Family. That's what it's all about. Sometimes when I think about my family, I think about how lucky I am. We are all very different, but we love each other very much. Some of us don't get to see each other at all, but with the goodness and the inventions of all of these things where we can talk to each other and see each other on the phone, it makes me so happy in here that being a family doesn't mean being together all the time, but you can figure out a way to make it work. So Ohana in Lilo and Stitch means family, it means home, it means no one gets left behind. And that's what I wanted to send to you today, boys and girls, and say, no matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing, no matter who I'm with, no matter what book I'm reading, the number one thing that I always try to remember is to put a lot of love in here, in your heart, put a little something in your head, and of course, make you laugh. And what do we do when we really want to get a good laugh? We get our board twirl going. So you ready to do it with me? Twirl, twirl. I will say that whenever I do the twirl, and I do it with you, it is always so much better. I think it's like that family thing. We are a family here at B.O.R.E.D. You're my better off reading everyday family, and I absolutely adore you. And I will see you again soon with more love, more books, and more family. Bye. Who's a beautiful boy?